What can Congress do to help the economy quickly?
Probably the quickest thing they could do right now would be to cut capital gains taxes. Historically, that's worked pretty well. I also think cutting the corporate tax might drive some more money from outside the United States back into the country. Both those things are actions Congress can take, push hard on, and force the president to negotiate and come to see it our way, as Bill Clinton did, Ronald Reagan did, John Kennedy. There's a lot of precedents for lowering capital gains and lowering other taxes to spur the economy.
Do you believe Congress should vote to increase the debt limit again?
No, not unless we get something this time. Last time, Congress voted several times on different things and was shot down the Senate. And I believe it was over 8 or 9 different things were passed in the House that the Senate wouldn't even consider. This time, we've at least got to take the low-hanging fruit of the stuff that's going to affect the middle class. There should be no compromise and no increase in the debt limit unless we get a repeal of the medical excise tax, and I would like to see capital gains taxes cut, like I said before, down to 10 or 12%, a very low rate, so that we can spur the economy, and then we'll get credit for fixing the economy, which is what we need to do and what we need to take the lead on.
You disagreed with President Obama and John Boehner on intervening in Syria. Why?
I think the Obama administration has made a mistake in the Middle East a couple times in treating the entire Middle East in the same way. The areas around the Eastern Mediterranean there are historically called the Levant, and those areas have a long history of being under the rule of the Ottoman Empire in concert with the French. And when they worked together, that area was stabilized, there was great economic growth, but it took a real concerted effort to rule and keep the peace there. In '68, when King Hussein of Jordan kicked the Palestinians out, they went to Lebanon, and then we had Beirut fall again. So intervening in Syria was kind of going to be the same thing. Just rambling into there was probably going to lead to disaster. A lot of folks compared it to another Vietnam. That's not true at all. Some said it was kind of like a World War II or Korea. That's not true either. It was more like a 1914 scenario where you had different powers behind it, proxy wars, if you will, and it was something that if you're going to go into Syria, Damascus in particular, you have to go not with the rule to power, but the rule to will. There has to be a concerted effort, and the people in the United States would have had to be behind that and willing to rule there for some time. So that's why I was against that. I thought it would be a fairly large disaster and escalate quickly into a larger regional conflict.
John Boehner said on The Tonight Show that we all agree that spending needs to be cut. How do you differ from Mr. Boehner?
Well, I think we're at a watershed moment here in our nation's history. The difference here is, I believe John Boehner, I know, he thinks we have time. And we keep saying we're kicking the can down the road. And some of these cuts in the Ryan Murray budget deal won't happen for years. So he's under the assumption that we have 2 or 3 years to work this out. I don't believe that. We have to cut now. And the difference is, if Mr. Boehner's wrong and we're out of time and the debt's too high and spending's too high, we're going to have a sudden and tangible collapse that affects a lot of people's lives. I don't think we should be playing dice with folks like that anymore, especially in the middle class. I think the spending cuts have to happen now. We have to hold the line, but we need to do a much better job of articulating to the people and to the media in general who don't want to listen to us conservatives a lot that this time it's serious. We need to cut now. We need to get responsible with our debt, and we need to reintroduce a long-lost word in America, and that's thrift. I expect those folks to be thrifty with our money. It is our money. So he may agree we need to cut spending, but he doesn't have any sense of urgency about it. If he's wrong, we're in a heck of a pickle. If I'm wrong, well, so what? We all want to cut spending anyway. So it's a bit of a dangerous dice game, I think, that he's playing. I would be a lot more pragmatic and a lot more insistent that we do the right thing and cut spending now as opposed to waiting.
Thank you for your time today, Mr. Gurr.